నమస్తే, వెల్కమ్ టు AtluriMedia. మై లైఫ్ మై జర్నీ సిరీస్లో ఈరోజు మనతో పాటు స్టూడియోలో ఉన్నారు షహరోజ్ సాదత్ గారు. సో సాదత్ గారు ఒక లిరిసిస్ట్, స్క్రీన్ రైటర్ అండ్ డైరెక్టర్. ఆయన ప్రయాణం ఎలా సాగిందో ఇక్కడ దాకా ఆయన మాటల్లోనే తెలుసుకుందాం. నమస్తే అండి.
నమస్తే.
సాదత్ గారు, అసలు మీకు ఈ లిరిక్స్ రాయాలని, అలాగే డైరెక్ట్ చేయాలని, ఈ రైటింగ్లోకి రావాలని ఎలా అనిపించింది? ఎక్కడ స్టార్ట్ అయింది మీ ప్రయాణం?
Actually, as long as I can remember, I've always loved movies. Cinema ante నాకు పిచ్చండి. While growing up, I used to watch a lot of films, and one day I kind of knew that when I grow up, I will definitely be part of this industry. I was always fascinated by good storytelling and all this. So I always thought that once I grow up, I'll definitely get into this field uh, and since I thought that I had some interesting stories to tell, I always knew that one day I would be sharing those stories with the audience.
సినిమాలంటే ఇంట్రెస్ట్ పిచ్ అన్నారు, అంటే ఏ ఏజ్ నుండి మీరు అసలు మూవీస్ చూడటం మొదలు పెట్టారు?
I think I was probably like 11 or 12, if I can remember. Yeah, I think 11 or 12. Ever since I started watching the films, the more I watched, the more interest I got into this. And like I said, one day I really, wanted to get into this field. But, with the family pressures and everything, the cinema field is so unpredictable. Usually, especially back in those days, you wouldn't get that kind of encouragement or all that. So basically, my journey started with what happened was while when I finished my college, I went to the US, since my father, my mother, everybody lives in the US. So I went to the US, and I worked there at a bank for almost 13 years. But that dream was always back in the mind that I one day I'll get into the films. And when I felt that I was financially stable, at that point of time, I quit everything, and then I came back to India, and then I started with a short film, which actually I wrote, produced, and directed. And after that, there hasn't been any turning back.
మీరు అబ్రాడ్లో ఉన్నారు కదండి, మూవీస్ అంటే ఇంట్రెస్ట్ కదా, సో అక్కడ కూడా మూవీస్ ఎక్కువ చూసేవాళ్ళ ఇక్కడ లాగానే?
I'll tell you a funny incident. I don't know how many people are aware of the fact that in the US, every area has a designated library, and in those libraries, they have all the international books, international films, and everything. So my job was to I basically held two jobs. One was my full-time job, which I was working at the bank, and the next job was to go check out the library and make sure that I watch and I grab every single international film on the shelf. I come back home and I watch it. So I've always been a cinema, movie buff, and I'm glad that I got that opportunity. Since I was in the US, I got a lot of exposure to even international cinema. So I made sure that I watched every kind of cinema. I mean, in every language, be it Hebrew, Italian, French. I mean, you name it. So that was a very good learning experience. That I got the exposure of the international cinema.
సదత్ గారు, ఇప్పుడు అంటే మనకి సినిమా అనేది ఒక మీడియం, మాధ్యమం మనకి.
కరెక్ట్.
మీరు లిరిక్స్ రాశారు, అలాగే స్క్రీన్ రైటింగ్ రాశారు. అంటే బేసిక్గా మీకు రైటింగ్ అంటే ఇంట్రెస్టా? అంటే దానికోసం మీరు మూవీస్ ఎంచుకున్నారు? ఎందుకంటే లిరిక్స్ అనేది మనం రకరకాలుగా రాయొచ్చు, పాటలు రాయొచ్చు, మాటలు రాయొచ్చు, సో బుక్స్ రాయొచ్చు. సో ఆ రైటింగ్ అనే ఇంట్రెస్ట్తో మీరు సినిమాకి వెళ్ళారా, లేదా సినిమా మీద ఇంట్రెస్ట్తో రైటింగ్కి వచ్చారా?
Actually, I'm glad that you asked that question. It's a beautiful question you've asked. See, I think that all these things are interconnected. Even when you're writing songs. I mean, songwriting is also it's actually nothing but an extension of writing. Because when you're writing for a situation, you're actually trying to take the story forward. So I always feel that if you're a director and also a writer, it makes it much easier, because it's your story, so you can interpret the way you want to interpret, other rather than having, I mean, I'm not saying that you cannot direct somebody else's story, but I think when you are a writer director yourself, I think the output will be more impactful. That is my personal, opinion.
యా అంటే ఇక్కడ రెండు విషయాలండి. ఒకటి డైరెక్టర్ రైటర్ అయితే, సో డైరెక్టర్ ఏమనుకుంటున్నాడు అనేది మనమే రైటర్ కాబట్టి మనం రాస్తాం. రెండో పాయింట్ ఏంటంటే ఒక చెక్ పాయింట్, అంటే మనం రాసింది కరెక్టా కాదా అని ఒక డైరెక్టర్ నార్మల్గా చెక్ చేస్తాడు. ఇప్పుడు మీరే రెండు చేస్తున్నారు, సో మీరు ఎలా దాన్ని కరెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటారు, అంటే మీరు ఎలా దాన్ని ఇవాల్యుయేట్ చేసుకుంటారు?
See, first of all, you need to be convinced that, while making a film, see, I always say this, you should never make a film because, you have a certain actor's dates, or, you have a financer, or you have a producer. You should only make a film when you want to tell a certain story. So, unless and until I'm confident about telling that story, I don't go ahead with that project. So it makes much easier for me because I don't just randomly, pick any story and, write, go ahead and, direct the film. There are certain stories, I'm very convinced about, and I think, those stories needs to be shared with the audience. That is why I make the kind of films I make.
సో మీరు షార్ట్ ఫిలిమ్స్ కూడా తీశారు.
Yes, I started with short films, definitely. Yep.
Yes, మీరు 2 షార్ట్ ఫిలిమ్స్
Actually, I've done 4 short films.
Okay.
The first one I did was a movie called The Magic of Giving, which actually won a lot of awards. And after that, I did a film called Hum, which was actually based on national integration, which actually was also nominated in Filmfare short film category.
ఓకే.
And after that, I did another film called One Step Behind. And then I did another film called Hum Hindustani. And after these 4 short films, I did my first feature film, a children's film called School Diaries. And after,
అంటే ఎగ్జాక్ట్ గా స్కూల్ డైరీస్ అంటే ఏంటండి?
School Diaries actually talks about the relationship between teachers and students. I wanted to raise this question that while I was growing up, the teacher and student relationship used to be different. I'm raising this question that, are the students, treating their teachers what they used to, when I was growing up back in the day. And at the same time also, are the teachers like, what they used to be back in the day? So it's a very interesting, take on, what do you call a student-teacher relationship. And it was made, it was released, and, it was received very well. I think it's a great film.
అండ్ మీరు ఇంకోటి ఉమెన్స్ మీద కూడా చేస్తున్నారు, నారి.
ఎస్, ఆ సినిమా తర్వాత నేను ఒక ఉమెన్ సెంట్రిక్ ఫిల్మ్ నారి అని చేశాను. అది లాస్ట్ ఇయర్, అండ్ ఇట్స్ ఆల్సో ఏ బ్యూటిఫుల్ ఫిల్మ్. ఇట్స్ ఫీచర్ ఫిల్మ్.
సో నారి దేని మీద అండి? అంటే
నారి is actually basically it's about a rape victim. It's basically a revenge drama, but it's I wouldn't say that it's a very different film, but it's a regular revenge drama, but the treatment is very contemporary, very different, very engaging, very entertaining as well.
సదత్ గా మీరు తీసుకున్న సబ్జెక్ట్ కానీ మీరు పెట్టిన షార్ట్ ఫిలిం నేమ్స్ కానీ చాలా డిఫరెంట్గా ఉన్నాయి. అసలు మీకు ఇన్స్పిరేషన్ ఎక్కడ? రియల్ టైమ్ స్టోరీస్ నుండి తీసుకుంటారా, లేదా ఇమాజినరీ నుండి మీరు రియాలిటీలోకి వస్తారా? ఎలా మీరు సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటారు?
I always feel that you have a lot of stories around you. You don't have to get inspired from watching different language films. You could actually, you might get a gem or an idea from that. But I think most of the stories are actually around you. You just have to look around and see. There are so many characters. There are so many stories. Just around you.
అండ్ మీరు తీసిన అన్నిట్లో కూడా హ్యూమన్ లో ఉన్నటువంటి ఒక ఎలిమెంట్ తీసుకుని హ్యూమన్ నేచర్ లో ఒక ఎలిమెంట్ మీరు ఎక్కువ ప్రొజెక్ట్ చేస్తారు.
I always try to focus on emotion, because I think emotion is one thing which is timeless. In this day and age, where the films are actually looking like what do you call video games. I feel that you should tell some human stories, with some emotion, because emotion is timeless, and when you make when you tell story through emotions, it will always connect with the audience.
సో మీరు ఎమోషన్ అన్నారు కదా, అంటే ఇప్పటి వరకు మీరు తీసినవన్నీ హ్యూమన్స్ మధ్యలో ఉన్న ఎమోషన్స్. ఇప్పుడు రాబోయే ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ వస్తుంది, సో ఈ ఎమోషన్స్ ఎలా ఉండబోతున్నాయి అని ఏమైనా తీయబోతున్నారా?
That's a very good question. Actually, that is the future of cinema, I think. And if you're a writer, director, if you're in this field, you have to adapt yourself, with times. So since it's just the beginning, and I'm actually looking forward to it. If required, I'm ready to adapt myself to even that kind of self as well.
ఓకే. అండ్ అసలు అంటే ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఇంత జర్నీలో యూ హ్యావ్ సో మెనీ ఎక్స్పీరియన్సెస్, డిఫరెంట్ సబ్జెక్ట్స్ మీద తీశారు కదా. ఇప్పుడు ఈ ఫీల్డ్లోకి అంటే ఈ స్క్రీన్ రైటింగ్లోకి రావాలనుకుంటున్న వాళ్ళకి మీరు ఇచ్చే సజెషన్ ఏంటి?
I always feel that in order to write, you need to read. You cannot write if you are not reading. So the most important thing is you need to read a lot. I mean, it could be anything. It could be autobiography, it could be fiction, it could be non-fiction, it could be anything. But as long as you're reading, I guarantee you that you will be able to write very well.
సో అంటే ఏ సబ్జెక్ట్ అయినా
Correct.
అది అది
Absolutely.
ఎనీ
Because
సబ్జెక్ట్ రీడింగ్ ఇస్ ఇంపార్టెంట్.
see, I mean, when you are reading, you have you have a vast vocabulary. Your mind is open to so many things. You might be able to remember something from any book. It could just be even a word, or it could just be an incident, or it could just be a character, or anything. So reading is very important.
ఇప్పుడు మీరు లిరిక్స్ రాశారండి. లిరిక్స్ అనేది మీరు రాస్తారు, అది ఒక ఇండివిజువల్ టర్మ్స్ అంటే ఇండివిజువల్ పదాలు లేదా సాంగ్స్ పెట్టుకుంటారు. స్క్రీన్ రైటింగ్ సీన్ టు సీన్ కనెక్ట్ చేయాలి. సో ఈ రెండింటికి ఉన్న డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటంటే ఈ రెండు డిఫరెంట్ సబ్జెక్ట్స్ కదా.
Correct.
సో ఎలా సింక్ చేస్తారు ఈ రెండింటికి?
See, I mean, screenwriting, screenplay is actually basically what it is if there is a simple story, you're developing into a full blown screenplay. Uh, Usually the story is just one line story. It is what incidents are going to be taking place in that story, and how things are going to unfold, and all those things will come in screenplay. As far as the song is concerned, song is like usually you've given a situation. It could be a romance, it could be drama, it could be anything. So you basically write according to that situation.
అంటే ఈ రెండింటిని ఎలా అంటే మీరే రాస్తారు కదా.
Yes, I write.
లిరిక్స్ రాసినప్పుడు ఒకలా థింక్ చేస్తారు, స్క్రీన్ రైటింగ్ చేసినప్పుడు ఇంకోలా థింక్ చేస్తారు.
Right.
సో స్క్రీన్ రైటింగ్ అనేది సబ్జెక్ట్.
Right.
అంటే ఆడియన్స్ మీరు చూపించాలనుకున్నది ఏదైతే ఉందో అది ముందు మీరు విజువలైజ్ చేసుకోవాలి.
Absolutely.
సో అది ఎలా అసలు ఎలా మీరు దాన్ని మేనేజ్ చేస్తారు?
Like I said, I mean, like I said earlier, that you have to be very convinced about what story you want to tell. If you have a story in your mind, if you're a writer, if you have a story in your mind, obviously you will have the whole thing right in front of your eyes. So when you're writing the screenplay, you've already visualized everything in your mind. So that visualization, you are actually putting it on the paper. And as far as the song goes, like I said, it's just a situation, and you just write according to the situation. That's it.
అంటే ఇప్పుడు మనం ఒక ఓటీటీలో ఒక సిరీస్ తీసుకున్నాం అనుకోండి, 10 ఎపిసోడ్స్ 7 ఎపిసోడ్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఓకే, అబౌట్ 4.5 అవర్స్. ఒక మూవీ తీసుకుంటే 2.5 అవర్స్. మన ఒక షార్ట్ ఫిల్మ్ అంటే చాలా తక్కువ టైంలో అదే మెసేజ్ని కన్వే చేయాల్సి ఉంటుంది. సో ఛాలెంజెస్ ఏముంటాయండి యాజ్ ఎ డైరెక్టర్?
As a director, actually, the most difficult thing is actually from the storytelling point of view. I think making short films are very difficult because you have a very limited time, and you need to convey whatever you want to convey in that period of time. So, but if you're a writer, you have to be an all-rounder. You have to know. See, every medium has its own language. So you need to have command over all those languages. OTT has a certain language, short films have a certain language, and so full-length feature film. So you need to be aware of the fact that how to hold the audience. End of the day, you could be doing all these three different things, but end of the day, your target should be to get the pulse of the audience. So as long as you keep that in mind, and you write with full honesty, you will get beautiful results.
3 roles మీరు చేస్తున్నారు ఇదే షార్ట్ ఫిలింలో. ఒకటి లిరిక్స్ రాస్తున్నారు, స్క్రీన్ రైటింగ్ రాస్తున్నారు, డైరెక్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు. ఏది టఫ్ టాస్క్?
I think writing is the most difficult part because like I said, you have to make sure that you're holding the pulse of the audience. At the same time, you're also entertaining the audience. I think it is the most difficult part, but at the same time, it is the most enjoyable work. Enjoyable, I mean, in the sense, I mean, directing is fun as well, but I think I personally enjoy writing.
అండ్ వెరీ ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్ థింగ్, మీరు మన ఆనరబుల్ ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ నరేంద్ర మోడీ గారికి ఒక సాంగ్ రాశారు.
Correct.
అండ్ ఆ సాంగ్ సూపర్ హిట్ అయింది. అండ్ 2024 క్యాంపెయిన్ లో కూడా సాంగ్ ప్లే చేశారు.
Correct.
ఓకే, సో అది ఇన్స్పిరేషన్ ఏంటి, ఎలా రాశారు?
Actually, it was a bit of a challenge. It actually came from one of my producers, with whom I was working on a film, and the gentleman is a very nice guy, and he's a big Modi fan. So it was actually his idea. One day, we were sitting in his office, and casually, we were just talking, and he mentioned that I wish I could dedicate something to our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi. So I said, why don't we do a song for him? And he said, "Oh, can we do it?" I said, "Yeah, definitely." So, cut to 3 4 days, later, I went to him, and then I shared the idea I was working on, and he instantly liked it. So that's how that work started.
ఒక్కసారి ఆ సాంగ్ లిరిక్స్ చెప్పిదాన్ని కొంచెం ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తారా?
Sure, sure. Uh, it is a very meaningful and very nice song. It says, "देश का मान बढ़ाया है, धरती को स्वर्ग बनाया है, सच्चा मार्ग दिखाया है, प्रेम और स्नेह सिखाया है सारा देश एक ही सुर में, यहाँ सबकी एक ही ताल है, ये भारत का अमृत काल है, मोदी है तो देश खुशहाल है."
సో మీనింగ్ తెలుగులో
Meaning ante what it is saying is, he's taken India's names to heights, and since we have Modi as our prime minister, everything is beautiful, and we are living in an Amrit Kal.
ఓకే, అండ్ దాని మీద మీకు చాలా అప్రిషియేషన్స్ కూడా వచ్చింది కదా?
Yeah. I mean, everybody was so happy with the song because I think it has come out very well, and it is, and also it has been sung by a big Bollywood singer called Shadab Faridi. It has come out really nice.
సదత్ గారు, మీరు టాలీవుడ్ చూశారు, హాలీవుడ్ చూశారు, బాలీవుడ్ చూశారు, మిమ్మల్ని ఇన్స్పైర్ చేసిన డైరెక్టర్స్ ఎవరు?
There has actually been quite a few. Like I said, I've been lucky enough to be exposed to international cinema, and there are few directors who have actually made a big impact on me. One of them is definitely Akira Kurosawa. Then there is Federico Fellini, and then in India, we have Satyajit Ray. I've been a great fan of his films. Then there is Mehboob Khan. There's been so many directors, and I've enjoyed all this great directors' work, definitely.
అండ్ మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్లీ మనకి అంటే ఇండియన్ ఫిలిమ్స్కి బయట ఫిలిమ్స్కి అంటే క్వాలిటీలో ఎక్కడ డిఫరెన్స్ వస్తుందండి? అంటే మేకింగ్ క్వాలిటీ, ప్రొడక్షన్ డిఫరెన్స్?
I mean, to be honest with you, there isn't much difference anymore. We have almost, we've almost closed that gap. I personally feel that we make better cinema than them because we make sure that especially I'm talking about the South films. If you look at today, the South films are actually doing better than Bollywood films. The reason being, they're still connected to the roots. They're not letting their traditions go. They're telling the story from the their own stories. They're not very much influenced by West. Yeah, and they're making sure that they're connected to the roots, and they're making sure that they're showing their customs, traditions. So as long as we keep all these things intact, we will always make good films.
అంటే మీరు ఇప్పుడు మూవీస్ చేస్తున్నారు, రాస్తున్నారు కదా, సో మీరు అంటే ఏదో ఒక సబ్జెక్ట్ ఉంటుంది, చాలా మంది తీయాలనుకుని ఇప్పటిదాకా తీయలేని సబ్జెక్ట్, అంటే తీయని సబ్జెక్ట్ ఏదైనా ఉందా ఎమోషన్స్ మీద?
Actually, one film which I'm currently working on, which hopefully will be going on the floor in the month of May. We will start filming. It's a beautiful concept. It's a story about a father and a daughter, and there's a 7-year-old girl daughter. She is so much in love with her father. Without realizing that she has a stepfather. She's always craving for his love, but she doesn't know that he's her stepfather. So basically, that story is about the journey of this girl and how she finally wins her father's heart. It's a beautiful emotional story.
మేలో అది వస్తుంది.
Yes, May we will start filming. So hopefully, by the end of the year, we'll be releasing the film.
షార్ట్ ఫిలిం రియల్గా ఎంత ఇంపాక్ట్ ఉంటుంది అంటారు?
See, I mean, let's just not divide, short film or feature film and all this. Basically, if you're telling, see, every story has like I said, certain stories you cannot prolong it to a feature film. If you think that one story could be told in a limited amount of time, with a good, with a better impact, you should actually go for a short film. You should never try to make a short film into a full blown feature film, only because you think you have a producer, or you have a financer. Every story has its own demand. So there could be some stories which needs to be told in full length, feature film in 2 hours. So you go for that. If you feel that some stories can be told in 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever the time is, you should go for a short film.
అండ్ మీరు మూవీస్ డైరెక్ట్ చేశారు కదండి, అంటే ఇప్పుడు మూవీస్ ఎవరన్నా ఈ సెగ్మెంట్లోకి రావాలనుకునే వాళ్ళు, మేబీ అది షార్ట్ మూవీస్ అవ్వచ్చు లేదా కంప్లీట్ ఫుల్ మూవీస్ అవ్వచ్చు, అసలు ఏ స్కిల్స్ కావాలి, అంటే బేసిక్ స్కిల్స్ ఏం కావాలి, టెక్నికల్ స్కిల్స్ ఏం కావాలి?
See, basic skills is, like I said, first of all, you need to you need to be very well read, well versed, and you need to know your literature. The most important thing is you need to know your literature. If you know your literature, you can take so many things from it. And like I said, I always feel that creative field is something which you either have it in you or not. You could even go to a film school. They will tell you how to write, but nobody will be able to tell you what to write. It has to come from inside, from within you. So just read a lot, and a lot of hard work, a lot of reading, and a lot of watching our classics, all those films, and and make sure that you get inspired, but don't copy anybody.
Be creative.
Create your own style.
బీ క్రియేటివ్.
Yes, absolutely.
ఓకే. అంటే షార్ట్ ఫిలిమ్స్ అనేవి ఎక్కువ ఎక్కడ ప్రొడ్యూస్ అవుతాయండి? అంటే మన ఇండియాలో ఇండియా వర్సెస్ బయట మనం కంపేర్ చేసుకుంటే.
Actually, like even 5-6 years back, there were a lot of short films being made. But now the web series, have taken over short films. You don't see too many short films being made these days. People are opting for web series a lot these days.
అంటే ఇప్పుడు మన ఓటీటీస్లో కూడా వీళ్ళని ఎంకరేజ్ చేయడానికి షార్ట్ ఫిల్మ్ కేటగిరీ పెడితే బాగుంటుందండి.
I mean, see, if you have a good story,
ఆర్ అట్లీస్ట్ అవార్డ్ విన్నింగ్
award.
short film.
Yes. Like I said, I mean, if you have a good story, and if you have limited sources, if you're confident about a certain story, if you're convinced that this story needs to be shared with the audience, it does not require a lot of budget. Just pull some strings and get involved. Have your friends, family, and get them involved, and make your own film. So that that way you can showcase your talent, what kind of talent you have, and that probably will open the doors for you in the near future also.
మీకు బాగా కనెక్ట్ అయిన మూవీ ఏంటి మీరు తీస్తున్నారు?
I mean, I'm very proud of all my films. I mean, like I said, I only make films when I feel that the story needs to be shared with the audience. Like I said, they all have beautiful emotion, beautiful drama, and a good message as well.
సో ఎలా ఫీల్ అయ్యిందంటే మన అవార్డు వచ్చినప్పుడు కానీ, ఫిల్మ్ మన సెలెక్ట్ అయినప్పుడు కానీ నేషనల్ లెవెల్లో?
I mean, it's a great feeling that you feel very proud that your vision is actually being rewarded and being recognized. It's a great feeling.
సో సాదత్ గారు, థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్. చాలా విషయాలు, మీ ఎక్స్పీరియన్సెస్ చాలా మాతో పంచుకున్నారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for inviting. Thank you so much.